There's a truth so profound, so disruptive that once you understand it, you'll never see life the same way again. Nothing around you is truly real until you decide it is. The world you live in isn't solid, fixed, or predetermined. It's fluid, waiting for you to observe it into existence. This isn't just poetic spirituality. It's grounded in quantum physics. In the now famous double-slit experiment, scientists discovered something extraordinary. When electrons weren't being observed, they behaved like waves, existing in multiple states and scattered across probabilities. But the moment they were observed, they collapsed into particles, into form, into something real. The very act of observation changed the outcome. You are not a passive character in a pre-written script. You're not here. You are the observer, and more than that, the collapser of infinite possibilities into a single lived reality. Yet most people live as if the world is already decided. They replay the same thoughts, react in the same ways, and cycle through the same emotions. By continually observing what is, they unconsciously recreate it again and again, not because they want to, but because they don't know how to look differently. But what if you did? What if you stopped observing through the lens of limitation and began to observe with intention, faith, and curiosity? What if instead of focusing on lack, you chose to see potential? Instead of reacting to the past, you responded to the future calling you forward? This is the invitation of quantum manifestation. Reality doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. The quantum field, an infinite ocean of vibrating energy, it is alive with possibility. It doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you observe with energy and coherence. It's not listening to your words, it's listening to your frequency. Where is your attention right now? Your focus is like a flashlight, illuminating one version of realities while leaving others in shadow. Are you shining it on fear, doubt, and scarcity, or are you directing it toward trust, gratitude? Most people try to change life from the outside in, but real transformation begins when you change what you choose to observe. Every time you emotionally engage with a thought, you observe it into being. When you dwell on what's wrong, you feed it energy, making it more real. But when you focus on a higher possibility, even if it hasn't happened yet, you draw it closer, beginning the process of collapsing it into form. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. That energy is what instructs the quantum field, not your effort, not your struggle, but your awareness and state of being. You don't have to force your way into a new life. You simply have to become the observer who sees that new life already unfolding. Reality is not locked. It's responsive, sensitive to your focus. So if everything is waiting to be observed into being, the question is, what will you choose to see next? Your consciousness is not confined to your brain, nor trapped by time, base, or circumstance. It's the invisible sculptor of reality, the silent force shaping form from the field. The outer world isn't the cause of your inner state, it's the reflection of it. That reflection begins long before any action is taken. Thinkers like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Mit Goswami, and Bobby Proctor have spent decades bridging quantum physics and spiritual wisdom. revealing that consciousness is primary and matter is secondary. Goswami put it plainly. Consciousness creates, reality not the other way around. This changes everything. It turns you from a passive observer into a powerful creator. Your intention, your directed awareness begins to pull waveforms of possibility into particles of reality. The field itself is neutral, but your awareness gives it shape. Your attention decides which of infinite possibilities will become your lived experience. In the quantum realm, particles behave like waves until they are observed. In the field of human creation, your attention is the instrument of observation. It doesn't require action. It requires presence. It doesn't depend on methods. It depends on coherence. It doesn't rely on external triggers. It rests on internal alignment. When your mind merges with feeling, when emotion fuses with intention, consciousness imprints a blueprint onto the field. That blueprint becomes the silent command that begins reshaping your inner world, eventually manifesting outward as form. Some call this intention setting or creative manifestation. Others call it quantum creation. This is where spiritual practice meets measurable science. Joe Dispenza points to observable shifts in brain, waves, physiology, and electromagnetic field is when people hold coherent intent with emotion. Bob Proctor reminds us that it's not your thoughts that paint reality, it's the energy behind them. It's not the words you speak, it's the state you sustain. Consciousness is not limited to the personal. It is non-local. Your awareness can influence realities even from a distance, even before they physically exist. You don't need proximity, you need presence. You don't need external validation, you need inner conviction. Here's the revolutionary shift. The world outside is not the cause, it is the effect. Your consciousness is the root, the soil. The field is the fertile ground. Your observation is the activation that allows potential to sprout into existence. So the next time you feel powerless, remember, you are not powerless. You are infinitely creative, a conscious force shaping the world through the precision of your attention and the purity of your state. This is your invitation to pause, breathe, and bring awareness to your inner world. Realize that consciousness is not passive, it is profoundly creative. The reality you live is not simply happening to you, is emerging through you. Creation doesn't start with effort, it starts with focus. Every moment, your life is being shaped by where you give your energy. Not by what you say you want, but by what you consistently observe, react to, and feel. Attention is magnetic. Every second you are awake, you are tuning your internal frequency, giving the quantum field instructions. Energy follows awareness. Wherever your attention lingers, your energy gathers, amplifies, and begins sculpting reality as into form. This is why the same thoughts lead to the same feelings, which lead to the same decisions, which sustain the same reality. This isn't just a metaphor, it's energetic physics. Your emotional focus determines the vibrational quality of your field. Your thoughts don't just describe your life and activate timelines that match their frequency. When you keep focusing on what's missing, what's wrong, or what hurts, the field reflects it. Not out of judgment, but out of precision. If you keep observing life as it is, you unintentionally reinforce it. Your state of observation becomes the blueprint for what the universe builds next. You see what is pause, you emotionally react and you observe. It again, same input, same output. But when you turn your attention to a possibility aligned with your highest vision and meet it with emotional presence, you begin to collapse a new reality. You stop rerunning the past and start vibrating the future. This is the practice few commit to, the discipline of stopping the observation of what is and starting to observe what can be as if it already exists. You're not faking, you're focusing. You're becoming the observer of a higher pattern until that pattern stabilizes and materializes. The old self wants constant proof. It wants to check facts, repeat memories, and measure progress. But the quantum self knows the only true reality is the one you emotionally stabilize inside. If you observe limitation, you expand it. If you observe potential, you unlock it. Here's the shift. Observation must become intentional, and focus must become sacred. You are not here to passively witness reality. You are here to witness the invisible into form. Each time you give your full presence to the experience, you wish to live. Love, abundance, peace, vitality, and embody the emotion of already having it. Your attention activates it. Not through hope, not through wishing, through the decision to observe what the outer world has yet to show. The truth is, you don't need to remove every limiting thought. You simply need to become more devoted to your chosen focus than to your familiar fears. The field doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency. It needs coherence between what you focus on and who you are becoming inside. So here's the invitation. Watch your focus like a sacred compass. Interrupt the urge to observe what you don't want. Withdraw attention from narratives that drain you. With gentleness and devotion, place your awareness where your soul is calling you. Because what you choose to observe with love cannot help but become real. You weren't placed here to passively watch life. You'll know too to sculpt it with your presence. Many still believe they are waiting for something to benga. Job, love, health, opportunity. But in the quantum world, nothing moves until you observe it into motion. Nothing becomes real until your consciousness tells the field, this is what I choose to stabilize. This is the moment your identity shifts from reacting to reality to collapsing it into form. You are not just an observer of the movie. You are the lens, the light, the script, and the screen. Every time you focus on something with emotion, you assign it weight in the quantum field. You're not just seeing it. You're collapsing a wave of probability into a particle of experience. This is why patterns repeat. You keep observing them. You feed them with attention. The universe reflects them, not as punishment, but as precision. The field doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you reinforce through observation, through emotion, through identity. And here's the turning point. When you observe a new story, even before it exists, you begin folding new possibilities into reality. Not by forcing them, but by witnessing them long enough, clearly enough, and with enough emotional coherence that they have no choice but to respond. This is the essence of collapse, possibility becoming presence through you. When you truly understand that your observation holds this much power, you stop outsourcing your transformation to the world. You stop waiting and you start creating. Stop waiting for life to give you peace before you feel peaceful, and start recognizing that when you observe, peace within yourself, life will reflect it back. Imagine you're watching two possible realities. One, where you're still trapped in old emotions, proving your limitations and tracking what hasn't worked, and another where you've already become the version of yourself who is free, joyful, and loved. Both exist in the quantum field, but only one will become physical, the one you choose to observe with depth and devotion. This is what acting as if truly means. It's not pretending, and it's not delusion. It's choosing to observe the unseen until it becomes real. You become the one who collapses possibility into reality when you stop reacting and start deciding. When you look at your current circumstances and declare, "This is not all there is. I choose to see something greater," you claim authorship over the field. As you hold that inner vision, the gap between your inner and outer worlds closes. What you once imagined begins to unfold in your experience because you embraced it as truth before any proof existed. The invitation is simple. Start observing your future self as if they are already here. Feel their energy. See how they move, speak, and think. Hold that image close, as if it's already your reflection. In a universe shaped by observation, the most magnetic act is to clearly see what others cannot yet see and to become it. The universe is not testing, punishing, or withholding from you. It is responding. The quantum field is not emotional. It doesn't check your worthiness yet, your past, or your goals. It reads only one thing: your frequency. It mirrors that frequency back to you with precision every time. This is why manifestation can feel confusing. Your mind might be asking for abundance, but your vibration is anchored in scarcity. You might affirm love, yet carry the fear of rejection. You might dream of freedom while clinging to control, doubt, or comparison. The field doesn't argue or assess. It simply reflects who you are being consistently. Manifestation isn't about convincing the universe of what you want. It's about aligning with the version of you who already has it. That version already exists in the field, but you cannot experience it from a contradictory frequency. Peace cannot arrive through the vibration of chaos. Worth cannot flow through the emotion of self-doubt. The shift begins when you stop trying to control external outcomes and start curating your inner state. You develop the discipline of observing your thoughts, not to judge them, but to become aware of them. You tune into your emotional baseline, not just your occasional feelings, but your habitual state, because that baseline broadcasts your signal when no one is watching. That frequency sets the tone for your reality. When you take responsibility for the energy you send out, everything changes. You move from victim to creator. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What am I vibrating that's calling this?" And not from guilt or blame, but from awareness and power. The field is your mirror. Yet most people try to change the reflection without changing the face they're showing it. They try to manifest more money without healing their story of lack. They search for love without becoming someone who feels lovable. They attempt to shift the outer world without tending to the inner one, and the field keeps responding in kind. Ask yourself now, what am I consistently observing? What emotions am I repeating? What frequency am I living in, not just during meditation, but in everyday life? The goal is not perfection, it's consistency. It's choosing again and again to return to the frequency of who you want to be until it feels natural, until it becomes your reality. When you realize the field is neutral, you reclaim your power. No one is judging you, and nothing is limiting you. There are no energetic gatekeepers. Agreements, and you can change them at any time. Every breath, every belief, every moment of presence is a vote cast into the field saying, "This is who I am," and the universe responds accordingly. You don't have to earn your dream life. You have to match it. You must broadcast it with the emotional integrity of someone who already lives it. This is the moment to stop reacting and start radiating, to stop begging and start broadcasting, to stop explaining and start embodying, because the field is already listening. There is a place within you that is unmoved by appearances and untouched by circumstances. It sees without panic, without projection, and without noise. This is the frequency of the silent observer, and it holds more power than you can imagine. The silent observer carries more power than any effort you've ever made. It doesn't try to manifest through force, doesn't chase outcomes, and doesn't argue with the present moment. It knows that reality rearranges itself not through struggle, but through stillness, not through wishing, but through witnessing with full presence. In the quantum world, everything exists as pure potential, a wave of infinite probabilities. That wave doesn't collapse because you push harder. Collapses when you observe with clarity, when you see with certainty, when your presence aligns coherently with what you desire. This is why so many people try for years to create change, but feel stuck. They're still observing their current life through the lens of resistance. They watch their fears more than their future. And the field always responds to the lens you look through. The true power isn't in the words you speak. It's in the frequency you observe from. When you enter the field as the silent observer, free from panic, judgment, and desperation, poured in, trust, you become magnetic. What you once chased begins to move toward you, because you did more, but because you became more. You became quieter inside, yet fuller in being. This isn't passivity. It's one of the most active disciplines you can master. It's witnessing your life without buying into the illusion that what you see now is final. It's holding space for what's emerging, even when no evidence has appeared yet. It's staying rooted while the world shifts around. You, not waiting, but aligning. The silent observer is deeply connected, yet undisturbed by the urgency that distorts the signal. It knows every scene is still unfolding, that nothing is said until you observe it with your soul. From here, you remember, reality is not an outside force, it's an echo of your awareness. The more still, clear, and coherent your awareness becomes, the sharper and more accurate the echo. To live from this space, you begin by practicing presence. You teach your nervous system to feel safe in the unknown. You release the habit of constant analysis. You watch your thoughts pass like clouds without chasing or holding on to them. You breathe deeper, slow down, and return again and again to the part of you that simply sees. From this you're seeing creation flows. The world will still throw distractions your way. Old patterns will try to pull you back. The ego will whisper that you're not doing enough. But each time you return to the frequency of the silent observer, you reset your alignment. You remind the field who is leading. And you witness life reorganize itself to match your vibration. This is the true seat of power. You don't need to manipulate outcomes. You don't need rituals fueled by anxiety. You need only to observe with presence, with heart, with belief. In this frequency, you are no longer separate from what you seek. You are the field itself, remembering itself. The moment you truly see this, the wave collapses. The illusion dissolves. The miracle arrives. So here's the invitation. Release the need for proof. Become the presence that attracts it. Let go of striving. Embody the frequency. Don't just picture your dream life. Observe it from the place inside you that knows it's already real. The silent observer does not create by accident. It creates by coherence. It chooses what to watch, and then watches it come, alive. Let this be your turning point, a shift in how you meet your world, and the awakening of the creator you've always been.